All right, welcome back to another After Dark, everyone. Hope you all are having a good night so far. Hope you guys had a good day. So check this out. I was asked to react to this. Once again, suggestion from comments. I've been on quite a roll the last couple of days. You guys have been throwing out a lot of suggestions lately, and I appreciate them all. Thank you very much. This one is titled Year in Review, the NBA in 2003. And I thought this was going to be interesting. This is Michael Jordan's last year. And I gotta tell you, I remember 2003 pretty well. The NBA was in good hands. It was actually like not a sad, like, of course it was sad Jordan was finally retiring, like the last time. But it wasn't so sad because it looked like the NBA was in very good hands at that point. So this is going to be a cool video, I think. And on top of that, I didn't realize until I just brought this video up here to get started. This is from a channel called Hoop Kings. I've never heard of this channel. And here's the ticker. They've only got 517 subscribers, you guys. So, and this video itself only has 412 views. So if you guys enjoy this video, and I'm going to do the same thing here, yeah, why not subscribe over to the channel if you enjoy it? It would be kind of a cool thing if, we all end up liking this video, and, with one reaction, maybe we could like double or triple his subscriber count. It would be pretty sweet. Anyways, you guys, first we got to see if we like the video. But yeah, I whenever I see a small content creator like this, just getting started, I always want to put a little emphasis on it, that if you guys do like it, consider subscribing, just so we can make someone's day, essentially. All right, you guys, as I always do, speaking of which, the link to this video right here is going to be down below in the description for you guys. So if you want to go over there and check it out and do your thing, link is right there for you, as well as a list of channel members. Thank you all channel members. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are the freaking best. But everyone who's here watching this with me, thanks for being here. Like the vid if you can. It'll help the vid a lot, and it'll help. I gotta learn this name, Hoop Kings. It'll help Hoop Kings a lot as well. Guys, let's do it. Year in review, 2003. Let's go.
Let's take it back to the year 2003. Jack Sparrow and the Pirates of the Caribbean hit theaters worldwide.
Oh, wow.
The first Call of Duty is released for the
COD?
very first time. And all of us had a crush on...
Yo, I don't want to get demonetized so fast. Easy, buddy, easy. Okay.
Meanwhile, on the hardwood, the 02-03 NBA season was in the midst of a seismic transition. As one legend would bid farewell to the game he helped revolutionize, another legend, who hadn't even played an NBA game, was already beginning to write his legacy. As one dynasty was teetering on the edge of collapse, another was quietly forming to seize its place in history. Revenge, redemption, heartbreak, victory. This season had it all. You're going to want to stay tuned for this episode in the NBA in the year 2003, a year in review.
Let's do it, man.
As the 02-03 season dawned, a single question whispered through the halls of the game, flickering in every huddle, every headline, every barbershop debate. Could the Lakers truly claim a fourth straight NBA championship? That would be truly remarkable, historic.
I hate to admit it, but I basically all but assumed it was going to happen. I didn't think anyone had a shot.
And flat out unheard of. Their quest to rewrite what was possible in the modern NBA got underway as the season kicked off. However, as reality set in to start the season, the three-time defending champion Los Angeles Lakers unfortunately appeared to be nearing the end of their reign. Shaq was injured for the majority of the regular season, and although Kobe was cementing himself as one of, if not the best player in the league, averaging 30 points per game and playing all 82 games, the Lakers' time at the top seemed dangerously numbered, and many teams in the Western Conference took note and looked to take full advantage. At the start of the season, everyone's choice to win it all was the Sacramento Kings.
That's who I was rooting for. Did I really think they could do it? No. But was I rooting for these guys to win.
Coming off the most controversial Western Conference Finals matchup in recent memory against the Lakers last season, Sacramento was hungrier and ultra motivated to win it all after being so close the season prior. Unfortunately for Sacramento, they were never able to catch any sort of meaningful rhythm in the regular season, as significant injuries would sideline point guard Mike Bibby, who is their underrated superstar in the making, and forward Chris Webber, their multi-talented, multi-dimensional power forward, for big portions of the regular season. Sacramento in 2003 is a reminder that your roster can be as deep and as talented as any team in the NBA, but you still need a bit of luck to go all the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Despite all of this,
healthy.
Sacramento still achieved the second best record in the Western Conference, posting an impressive 59 wins. But as you can imagine, there were many other teams out west who were hitting their stride at the perfect time. One of these teams was the Dallas Mavericks, who actually started the regular season winning their first 14 games.
Wow.
This Mavericks team was deep, featuring a big three of their own in Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, and Michael Finley. Nowitzki, the fifth-year forward.
Man, former son. Actually, two-time son.
Three of their own in Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, and Michael Finley. Nowitzki, the fifth-year forward out of Germany, led the charge in Dallas, averaging 25 points and 10 rebounds this season. Dirk's true impact, though, came in how he was revolutionizing the power forward position, which had often been associated with rugged inside play from players like Tim Duncan, Karl Malone, and Charles Barkley. Dirk made it okay for a 7-footer to step outside and be a threat from three-point range. And this year, he did so in dominant fashion, earning MVP consideration and making his second straight All-Star game. These Dallas Mavericks won 60 games this year, the first time this franchise has surpassed the 60 wins mark, truly showcasing just how special this Mavericks team was. The other team that would win 60 games this season was the San Antonio Spurs. The heartbeat and driving force of the franchise, Tim Duncan, was putting together another MVP campaign, averaging 23 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 blocks. And he was doing so in typical Tim Duncan fashion. Never too flashy, never stealing media headlines, never riveting you with any spectacular dunk, block.
And 13 rebounds is tough in 03. There's not as many shots were being taken at that point.
Or drives at the rim. Night in and night out, he just went to work and was a steady and consistent presence, both in the low post and in the locker room.
This is one of those situations where I was wrong. Because of the boring play style, and I hate to word it that way, but it is what it is. The boring play style of Tim Duncan, I thought KG was going to end up being way better than Tim Duncan. And I mean, on an individual level, we could still make that argument. But I mean, Timmy's resume is what it is, man. The guy he's on my top 10 for a freaking reason.
As this year's All-Star Weekend approached, Kobe Bryant...
Ben Wallace versus Yao, is that the opening tip? Is that what it is?
Was the leading vote getter to start in the All-Star game, and he deserved it. As great as Kobe had been the last 3 years, he took his game to a whole new level in 2000.
Crazy.
His entire repertoire was on full display, firmly establishing himself as an all-time great. Many debate which Kobe year was his apex, and 2003 is at the top of that list. One of the more mind-boggling achievements from this year is he would go on to score 40 or more points in 9 straight games.
Yeah.
40 points. Even in today's NBA game, that is insane. So back in 2003,
what do you mean even in today's game? It would be this is the hardest era to score in. Like the lowest scoring era that there is. So if today's game, he'd be doing this no problem. The impressive thing is that he was able to do it in 03.
Truly unbelievable.
And then again in 2005 when he averaged 35 a game, like that's what makes it incredible to me is he was doing it against in a snail pace era.
Following Kobe was Orlando's Tracy McGrady,
T-Mac,
who without question was enjoying his most dominant season ever.
That was my
guy. Leading the league in scoring at 32 points, while also averaging 7 rebounds and 6 assists. Following T-Mac was Vince Carter, who was injury-riddled for most of this year, but his high-flying aerial assault was still captivating fans and crowds alike, establishing himself as still one of the most popular players in the NBA.
By the way, you already got it. You got me, bud.
2003, and for a couple of years up until this point, the NBA was in the golden age of generational power forwards that would come to define the decade. Tim Duncan was probably for a couple of years now the undisputed best power forward at the time. Next up, you would probably go with Kevin Garnett of the Minnesota Timberwolves over Dirk Nowitzki, because as revolutionary to the position as Nowitzki was, KG was as versatile a player that this game has ever seen.
Okay, did this prompt something? Put it into the comments, you guys. Who, in your opinion, is the greatest power forward of all time? Does that I gotta say Tim Duncan's not my favorite, but I think he gets my vote for the best by far.
There was literally nothing on the court he couldn't do, and he played with a fire and passion that was unmatched at the time.
Look at his eyes.
After those three, Jermaine O'Neal, Chris Webber, and Rasheed Wallace were probably the next tier up, in that order also, but all three of these forwards were ultra talented in their own right. O'Neal was leading a young and scrappy Indiana team with a talented post game and phenomenal shot blocking abilities. Chris Webber was probably the best passer at this position, along with being a force on the block as well. And Rasheed Wallace was probably second to only Duncan as the most talented offensive player on the block at the time. Even after D6, you had power forwards like a young Pau Gasol in Memphis and Elton Brand with the LA Clippers, who were becoming instant 20 points, 10 rebounds, double-double machines.
Elton Brand.
And you can't forget the older but still very effective Karl Malone from Utah, who was still averaging 20 points and played all but one game in the regular season.
One of you guys out there asked how John Stockton, you said you were surprised that John Stockton ended up with more assists than Magic Johnson. This is why, man. He was still playing at this time. You know, he was still playing here, and then I think he even played in 2004. I know Malone did. He went to the Lakers. But, yeah, man, at least till 2003. As opposed to Magic Johnson, who retired essentially in 1991 after the 91 season. So he only made a quick comeback, and it didn't even last like half a season, if I'm not mistaken.
In no other time
So yeah, there's more than a 10-year gap there. So of course Stockton had more assists.
We see a better group of power forwards, truly a monumental era for this position. In a surprising turn of events for this year's All-Star game, rookie Yao Ming of the Houston Rockets was the fourth leading vote getter because the league opened up All-Star balloting globally, which included the approximately 1 billion people in Yao's homeland of China.
Yes, sir.
This meant that Yao would be the starting center for the West, catapulting him over Shaq, who had been the mainstay Western Conference starting center for years. And up until this point, and within other spheres of his life, Shaq was not above pettiness. And probably as a joke initially, but baked in with some sprinkle of realism, Shaq went in publicly on Yao, calling him names, questioning his hype, and kind of just bullying him, to be honest. Whether it was because of the All-Star starting snub, or whether Yao was flashing signs of dominance in his rookie year at center, or whether Yao just towered over Shaq, standing 7'5".
I sure wish instead of Shaq talking, Shaq was in the gym working. Like, I don't know.
Shaq poked and prodded Yao from afar, which is why one of the most highly anticipated regular season matchups was LA's visit to Houston in January 2003.
Yeah, and this is the real reason I think Shaq was doing it. Shaq was basically, he was promoting an event. Like this game, it was basically, it was being promoted as though this is like a Godzilla fight. Yeah, I get it. If anyone's going to get offended by that, I guess it would be me, but I'm not offended by it. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was a great promotional tool. And guess what? We all watched this game. If you were watching hoops and you weren't working during this day, you watched this matchup. So, yeah, Shaq is definitely an insecure guy, but in this case, he used it for a lot of good, in my opinion. Even though Shaq had to like apologize for what he did because his dad was like, yeah, you can't do that. That's not cool. Don't do that. Don't do that to Yao. You know, he's going to take offense to that.
Everyone was hyped for Shaq vs. Yao Volume 1, including hundreds of millions of additional eyeballs in China.
Yeah.
The opening moments of the game saw Yao block Shaq's first 3 shots, and on the other end, Yao would hit his first 3 shots. The crowd was going crazy, and it looked like Yao was officially the best big man in the game today. But at the end of the day, order will be restored as Yao tallied a respectable 10 points and 10 rebounds to Shaq's dominant 31 points and 13 rebounds.
All right, Shaq. Damn, man. I apologize for saying you needed to get back into the gym. I don't know how you did this. I don't know how you were able to still do this in 2003. Like, you had gained so much weight by this point, but it didn't matter. You were still dominating. Whenever you wanted it, you had it.
Houston did end up winning, though, on the heels of a 44-point barrage from Steve Francis. An explosive and very underrated.
Oh, wait a second. The Rockets won the matchup?
Of a 44-point, 31 points and 13 rebounds. Houston did end up winning, though, on the heels of a 44-point barrage from Steve Francis.
Hey, who out there remembers how badass Steve Francis was, man?
an explosive and very underrated point guard from the early 2000s.
Agreed.
Who is forgotten in many conversations today. As explosive a lead guard as there ever was, Stevie Franchise would also make his first All-Star appearance in 2003.
I know him and Stephon Marbury don't get nearly enough love.
As April approached, many teams were excited to get the playoffs started to avenge playoff hardship from a year prior. One team was the Dallas Mavericks, who got bounced out of the playoffs by Sacramento in 2002. As Dallas was preparing for their second round matchup against Sacramento in this year's round 2, Dallas was looking for some revenge. Both these teams featured high-octane offenses with deep rosters, but Dallas was just objectively a bit deeper. Dirk was their revolutionary power forward. Steve Nash was an elite point guard, able to score with the best of them and set up his teammates brilliantly.
I know, the guy was like 1 year away from his prime. You know, MVP prime.
Veteran Michael Finley, whose combination of shooting, defense, and rebounding was a plus at shooting guard. And Nick Van Exel was an underrated spark off the bench, scoring 40 points in Game 2 and 36 in Game 3.
Damn.
Unfortunately for Sacramento, Chris Webber suffered a season-ending knee injury early in the series, and although Sacramento did force this series all the way to a Game 7, Dallas's offense was just too much for Sacramento to handle. On the other side of the Western Conference bracket, the Lakers and Spurs met in the second round. Remember, it was these Lakers who swept the Spurs in 2001 and beat them in 5 games in 2002, so the Spurs, too, were looking to avenge some prior postseason trauma. This series featured arguably the 3 best players in the league in Shaq, Kobe, and Duncan. But at the end of the day, Duncan played like the best player out of the 3. Shaq was still a lot to handle inside, but was not as dominant as he had been. Kobe was, at this point, the most talented guard in the league, but the Spurs defense was able to neutralize his brilliance. And Duncan was proving to the world that although Shaq and Kobe may have been the best singular talents at the time, Duncan was a better leader, elevating the play of those like Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, and was a better talent when it mattered the most in these playoffs and in this series in particular. When the dust settled, San Antonio put an end to the Lakers dynasty by eliminating them in 6 games. The Lakers, who had looked invincible in the 3 years prior leading to the 2003 season, all of a sudden looked very human and very flawed. The end of the Lakers dynasty paved the way for a newer, albeit quieter and steadier one in San Antonio. But there is no dynasty without a championship, and San Antonio still had a lot of ground to cover. The Western Conference Finals was a Texas showdown between the San Antonio Spurs and the Dallas Mavericks, and although San Antonio was favored, it seemed Dallas was hitting their stride at the perfect time to complete the upset. Dallas actually went on to steal Game 1, with Dirk Nowitzki matching Tim Duncan's offensive output. However, after this initial upset, San Antonio proved their dominance and won the next 3 games. And in the final closeout Game 6, Steve Kerr came out of nowhere to hit 4 threes in the second half to put the game away.
Oh my God, I don't remember that. I don't remember him doing that. That's so awesome. Steve Kerr, what you got? 1, 2, 3, I think 5 championships, buddy?
Eastern Conference, the Nets blazed through the playoffs, having only lost 2 games in the entire playoffs up until this point, and entering the NBA Finals on a 10-game winning streak. As New Jersey and San Antonio faced off in these finals, Duncans will put together one of the most dominant finals performances in NBA history.
And this is how you know this was the Eastern Conference in this period of time. Because we treated the Western Conference Finals as though that was the championship. After that, there wasn't that much hype at all with the NBA Finals. Because it's like, yeah, they're going to spank whoever's in the East.
Averaging 24 points.
Until the Detroit Pistons happened in 2004. And that was like an earthquake. It just rattled everything we thought about basketball.
17 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 blocks. And to top it off...
Can you say that again?
Most dominant finals performances in NBA history, averaging 24 points, 17 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 blocks. And to top it off, in the series-clinching Game 6, Tim Duncan put up a near quadruple-double with 21 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists, and 8 blocks. This performance in Game 6 and for the series in general was on the level of Shaq's 2000 finals performance against Indiana, a feat that no one thought any player in the modern NBA could come close to accomplishing.
Man.
And this really cemented Duncan as truly one of the greatest players in NBA history.
I gotta say, if he's not in your top 10 of all time, I'd like you to ask yourself why. Like, there's got to be a reason. What is it? Why doesn't Tim Duncan get more respect?
Ultimately, San Antonio emerged victorious to win
Look at
their
the Twin
second
Towers.
championship in 5 years.
Yeah.
2003 was the ultimate redemption story for San Antonio. After several playoff disappointments during the Lakers' dynasty from 2000 to 2002, the Spurs finally got their revenge against the Lakers, and Tim Duncan was finally getting the credit he deserved. His first championship in 1999 was seen as a fluke because it was during a shortened NBA lockout season, and although 2002 was an MVP year for Duncan, he still came up short in the playoffs. Overlooked no more, finally. 2003 established Tim Duncan as the best player in the league and one of the best players ever. And looking ahead to future years, we all know that he wouldn't be done collecting rings in this decade.
Nope.
With that being said,
got himself
is
5.
Duncan the best player of this decade, or is it Kobe? Or is
this is, for me, I'll let the video end.
Shaq, or is it someone else?
Okay. First off, great video. You got my subscription. It's on. That's always a fun one. Who was the king of the 2000s, right? And I just say it's split. It's one of those eras that is split between Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan. It is what it is. You know, that's just the way I see it. And I guess we'd have to throw Shaq in there too, though, huh? Shaq got 1, 2, 3, 4 rings in that period, yeah? I think so. Did he get 4 or did he get 3? Anyways, I've always said, I'll just stick with what I've always said, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Do we need to throw Shaq in there? I've always said it was split between Kobe and Duncan. Just like I say, the 80s was basically split between Bird and Magic. You know, that era was split. And then in the 90s, that was all MJ. 2000s was split. And 2010s was pretty much Steph. You know, it's been his time ever since. So, anyways, you guys, let me know what you thought about this one. I thought it was pretty good. For the first time watching a video from this channel, and once again, mind you, for a channel that has 517 subscribers, I think this is a pretty damn good quality video. And I'm going to be on the lookout for if he's got other years in review, because this is a cool premise for a video series for damn sure. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys thought. I'm losing my voice right now for whatever reason, so I think it's about time I go. Yeah, I wish you guys a wonderful night. Thank you for watching this with me. I hope you enjoyed it, and like the vid if you don't mind. It helps out a lot. Go visit, go click on the link down below in the description if you want to check out the Hoop Kings channel. Subscribe to mine if you want more content like this. And it looks like my throat needs some what's that stuff? Be water, my friends. Peace out.